Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to share a few thoughts and more importantly, to learn from the very distinguished speakers at the World Education Congress that is being hosted by you all. First and foremost, a very good afternoon to everybody. And I do hope that everyone is hale and hearty in spite of this very difficult COVID-19 circumstances, and that all of you are following the safeguards advocated by your local institution, by the local health authorities, or by the local government. Indeed, the COVID-19 crisis has been unprecedented one in our times. A simple virus has paralyzed countries across the world, created grievous disruption to supply chains across the world, created grievous disruption to lives and livelihoods, and also created national lockdowns under whose effects we are all reeling. But at the same time, the COVID-19 has come at a time when the world or history could not have better prepared ourselves for facing such a crisis. And that's very important for us to note, because the COVID-19 in its wake, while disastrous it has been, had also brought in its wake the importance of education, innovation, entrepreneurship in these times. Indeed, for a country like India with 1.3 billion people, where we enjoy what they call as a demographic dividend, where 65% of our country is under 35 years old, and we have more than 1.4 million schools in our country, more than 10,500 engineering and related institutions, and more than 39,000 colleges. And we have 1 million engineering graduates every year, and more than 150 million young students who will be entering into the workplace over the next 5 to 10 years. This is very important for us to note that at a time in our history, it is very important to empower our young youth, who will be the future transformers of the world that we live in, and who will be able to create a better planet for all of us to live in. And in order to do that, the government of India and many others that are there on this particular illustrious event, all of us have been working towards how do we create a more empowered nation? How do we create a more empowered youth? Through leveraging the tools, technologies, processes, methodologies that is available to us in the 21st century. Indeed, we are very fortunate to live in a world, or to live in India at this point in time, where we have one of the fastest growing vibrant economies of the world, growing at 6 to 8% every year. We have the demographic dividend that we have been talking about, but more importantly, we are having access to affordable, available, accessible, and advanced technologies. And these technologies are enabling us to reimagine a new world order, to reimagine solutions for problems that we thought hitherto was impossible to solve, and to be able to apply our creativity, our imagination, our innovation to create the world of tomorrow, as the Honorable Prime Minister of India says, the Atmanirbhar Bharat of tomorrow. And that is why the Atal Innovation Mission has launched upon a series of initiatives related to the education and the empowerment of our youth. One of these initiatives has been the launching of thousands of Atal Tinkering Labs across the country. We are a very large country, as you are aware. We have 715 districts in our country, more than 650,000 villages, and we have more than 8,000 small towns and cities. But we have our schools and our school children who are spread all over the country. How do we ensure that we enable these children to grow up as problem solvers and innovators and job creators of the future, not just job seekers? That should be the main aim of education. The aim of education is not just to create get degrees, get marks in a class, go to the next class or go to the next university, get marks there and try to get a job in one of the large companies. That is, while that is a commendable initiative, what is more important today, in today's context, in a post-COVID-19 world, is that education empowers our youthful children, our children from the schools, as well as our students from the universities, and empowers them to become the problem solvers and innovators and job creators of the future. And that is why we have launched thousands of tinkering labs. And these tinkering labs, like the previous speaker, Andrea said, enables the young students in the schools between grade 6 to grade 12 to be able to have access to latest technologies like 3D printing, robotics, IoT, miniaturized electronics, augmented virtual reality, and artificial intelligence, do-it-yourself kits. Now, with these do-it-yourself kits, the young kids learn to tinker with, play with, in an atmosphere of fun and learning about How do you leverage the technologies that solves the problems of tomorrow to be applied to problems they see in and around the community that they live in? And they do this in small teams. They do this while they walk from their schools to their homes, from the schools to the neighboring playground, or from the homes to the nearest mall or to the nearest hospital. They start seeing the world around them and with a curious eye to see what are the problems that have yet to be solved. And therefore, then they come back, assemble in small groups, use these technologies to be able to create prototypes of solutions for problems they see. Now, what is the current status of this initiative? This is a game-changing initiative in India, and it is being emulated by many other countries abroad. More than 10,000 tinkering labs have been established in India in schools, and 70% of them are in government-aided schools. 70% of them are in girls and co-ed schools. And all of these are across the 715 districts that are there in the country. So it is enabling the young student from a place like Thoothukudi or from Rameshwaram or from Sikkim or from Salem or from Jodhpur to have access to the same technology that students have in a particular metro city. And it's creating thousands of potential innovators and the next generation of startup creators in this country. At the same time, more than 4 million students are actively participating and supported by mentors of change. We have established a strong collaborative network of mentors of change. And these are mentors from the industry, from specializations in various domains, who are bringing their knowledge, their capability to the teachers in these schools, because the teachers are not yet fully equipped to understand 3D printing, robotics, IoT, or miniaturized electronics technologies. And so how do you bring all of that expertise, which is already available? In a rising India, more than 300 million people of this country are already part of the rising economy. And we have we have $190 billion ITS industry that's been created just in the last few years. So the benefit of all of that is being brought to the doorstep of every school in our country, and thereby create the problem solvers and innovators of the future. And now this is being backed up by hundreds of incubators being set up in universities, world-class incubators to foster world-class startups. So the innovative spirit that has been created in the young students at the school, when they go into the university, they can find expression through the startups that they can create in these incubators. More than 400 incubators exist in India today. More than 55,000 startups have come out from India, and it has positioned India to be one of the fastest growing global innovation countries, with its global innovation index rising from a position of 81 to a position of 48 just in 5 years. So this is an amazing change that is happening in the empowerment of young students in schools, universities, and industry to be able to bring their creativity, their innovation capability to the fore through education on tools, technologies, and a problem-solving innovative mindset. I'm sure that the effect of this will be felt in the years to come, and India will rise to be one of the fastest growing, most innovative nations of the world. But at the same time, for such initiatives to be successful, there has to be a strong collaboration by multiple stakeholders, by the government, by the academia, by the universities, by the international organizations, such as the one that Andreas represents, the OECD, so that we are able to bring the benefit of best practices and knowledge that is happening in other parts of the world, share with them our own initiatives, and thereby solidify and crystallize these initiatives into great successes. I want to thank the World Education Congress for giving me an opportunity to share a few thoughts on this occasion. And I think we are at a watershed moment in our history when we'll be able to use all of the power of technology, affordable, accessible, available technology, with the global communication that has been set up and the connectivity platforms that are available to us through technology, through social media, through fiber technologies, satellite, 5G, and so on, and be able to use very powerful computers which are available to us, nano computing, quantum computing, or supercomputing that is becoming accessible and available at the lowest level in the economic value chain. I'm sure this will have a tremendous impact on the future of the world. And therefore, I see the COVID-19 as an important point, which is going to create and unleash this sort of creativity that is so necessary in the youth of our world. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to share a few thoughts on this occasion.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable expertise and thoughts about the innovation, and thank you for your contribution in the industry. And also like to congratulate you for winning the Education Leadership Award on behalf of World Education Congress. I would like to ask my team to show the clip.